I want to share my secret to $100 million bucks. Is that all right with you guys? My $100 secret, my $100 million secret. $100, I don't think anybody wants it. So first, the truth. You know, when I love being up here and exemplifying what success means or the next level or being excited. And I want to exude what it's like to go from struggling to fulfillment, struggling to success. But I think it's a lot more impactful when you have the ability to know where I came from, because a lot of times we feel like, wow, it could be working faster for me if. So I want to share a few things. In 1988, when I was 2 years out of high school, I lived with my dad. And sorry, Dad, I get personal. I hope you don't mind. You never did. I've been doing it for 20 years. You already passed it. In 1988, my dad, we had a collision shop together, and I lived with him. And we were working hard, and he went through an ugly divorce, which some people go through, and it hit him really hard. And he checked out. Just didn't want to work, didn't want to do anything. And I understand that now that I'm older. I understood it then when I was, 2 years out of high school. But we gave up on, we owned a collision, he rented a collision shop. We stopped paying the payments on it. He's like, I'm done, we got to move out of there. In fact, wanted to move out of his house. So he just kind of disappeared. And in 88, I had not gone to college because I didn't have any money and I wasn't that smart and I didn't think I could go to college. So I put all my eggs, listen, when you're 19, you don't realize you have the whole world in front of you. The way I felt at the time was I put all my eggs in my dad's basket. I was going to work in a collision shop with him. I wasn't going to go to school, so I'd sell cars and fix cars for the rest of my life. All of a sudden, that's completely gone. My dad wasn't around, and I got all my friends, Ricky being one of them, sitting next to my dad, and we got a pickup truck, and we emptied out I had to move out of the collision shop. If you ever saw a mechanic collision shop with all the tools and compressors, it was a nightmare. But then I had to move everything out of his house because I couldn't afford to pay the mortgage on his house, so I moved everything out of his house, and I rented it for him. But simultaneously, while I was going through that, I just thought my life was over. I said, I didn't go to college. My buddies were all gone, a lot of them in college. And I just felt I was screwed. So that little garage right there, I was up there 2 years ago. That's in upstate New York. I moved my tools and the compressor in that garage. And I started fixing cars one at a time out of that beat up old garage. And I fixed one car and then 2 cars and then 3 cars. And then I did something kind of brave. I went to the lady who owned the building my dad and I had rented prior for the collision shop, and I had the nerve to ask her. I built a relationship with her, and I asked her if she'd sell me the building for no money down. And I got her to sell me that building, and I reopened the collision shop up, and we owned the building this time. My dad came back and worked with me, and we were back on track. Now I get on track. You don't have to leave the slides up the whole time, guys. I'll tell you which ones to go up on. You can go back to the big screen. So we can go back to the big screen. It's just a delayed response, So then I get Enterprise Rent-A-Car, and we start getting tow trucks, and we start expanding our business, and we start doing pretty damn good. And now I'm at a point where it's 1995. And I'm making a couple $100,000 a year between apartments and the collision shop and the auto sales. But then I did this thing that probably everybody in this room maybe has done. I wanted to make money easier because I was working really hard to make my money. So I wanted to find an easier way. So I meet this guy through a friend of a friend, and he's a New York Times bestselling author, and he had made millions in the past. And he said to me, hey, I'm a little down on my luck right now. If you'll support me for the next 6 to 8 months, I'll write my next book. I already have $1 million advance waiting for me if I just write it. I just don't have the money to get through. So I figured, and he said, I'll give you 25% of the profits, $250,000. And I become friends with this guy. I end up loving this guy. He's an older dude. He's sweet as heck. And I give him almost all the money I had. Then I gave him all the money I had. Then he wasn't quite done with the book and had to get my dad involved. Then I borrowed some money. And I find out he was a professional con man. And he took everything I had. And that simultaneously was the same time my dad and I, just again being honest, we have the best relationship in the world. I love him to death. I have the best dad in the world, and I'm proud to call him my dad. But in 1995, the pressure of this and the pressure of other things, and we wanted to run the business completely different. So my dad and I had an altercation, had a falling out, and we didn't work together for a whole year. So now I lost all my money, and I didn't have my dad there, and I'm running this collision shop, and I'm like, here I am again, I'm screwed. There's no way I can get through this. But because I had the right beliefs, all the thing I'm sharing with you here today, I had the right beliefs, I just stayed focused, and I kept working. In fact, we started to thrive. And the business started kicking ass, and we were making more than we ever made before. Now I have my collision business, my auto sales, my real estate business, and I wanted to share this with the world. I had this crazy idea that I wanted to start infomercials and write books and courses and tapes and teach other people on the journey I had. I was 29 years old, and I started writing the course Motor Millions. Everybody told me I was nuts. I used every dollar I had. I used my credit cards. I borrowed. I did everything I could. I get on TV. I create an infomercial. I start learning this business. Now I'm running my car business and auto sales. I was literally living in New York one week. I'd fly out here for a week. I was running my education infomercial business here. I was running my car and real estate business in New York, and I was flying back and forth. And I started getting momentum. We were doing $1 million a year, $5 million a year, $7 million a year. And in 2005, someone wanted to buy, I wanted to go on to train real estate because that was the thing that changed my life. Somebody wanted to buy Motor Millions. So I sold it to a corporate company, and they blew it up. They just completely destroyed it, and my name was attached to it. So I had to go to court to fight to take back a company that I gave profitable. I had to take it back while simultaneously all my things, I take full responsibility for my life. I hired an accountant who I didn't realize was siphoning my money out. He never gambled one day in his life. At 60 years old, when he starts working for me, he gets a gambling problem. And what he did is he went and gambled his money and lost it and didn't want his wife to leave him, so he took money out of my account and lost it. Then he took more money out of my account to try to make up for the losses. I literally, things go sideways. I have to take this company back. My income goes away. I want to tell you where I'd almost lost it all. By then, I had already been buying millions of dollars worth of real estate. So what did I have on that real estate? I had loans because I was leveraging it to go to the next level. No problem when I got millions of dollars coming in. All of a sudden, the income is gone. I have millions of dollars worth of loans that I have to pay to not ruin my credit. And I go to tap my reserves, and they're gone. And when I ask him, he just breaks down and starts crying. And again, I thought, wow, this is it. This is over. I was too big for my britches. What did I think? That I could handle this? I started having all those terrible limiting beliefs, all those terrible thoughts. But then I switched them and said, no, I got here. No one thought I would get even where I was 10 years ago, and I'm here, and I'm staying. And thank you. And I don't say this to brag, but you can put the slides back up. I don't say this to brag. I say this to inspire. But today, my brands and my companies have recently broke $1 billion in sales. I've bought and sold thousands of single-family homes. I'm a multiple New York Times bestselling author. I've met and am friends with my heroes, people I used to just listen to their tapes and wish someday, and now they're some of my best friends. I co-founded Genius X, our $100,000 group, which is the highest level mastermind that exists today. It's sold out 2 years in a row. Millionaire Success Habits, one of the best-selling books of this year. And I get to inspire amazing people like you every day. And then most importantly, I get to be the dad I always dreamed to be. Thank you. How? So that's the how. So the how is, at this stage of my life and growth, and you guys could take off the slides, I'll tell you when to put them back up, but this stage, and that's not their fault. I just don't like a lot of slides. I'd rather you look at me. I think I'm cuter than slides, you know. And my hair came out good today, so no, I'm just kidding. But at this stage of my life, when I look back at what gave me the biggest growth, what gave me the biggest breakthrough, it really boils down to one thing. One thing is what made the difference between me being stuck when the first time it went wrong, when it went sideways and we had no place to work and I was working out of that garage. One thing that took me from in 2006 when I didn't know where I was going to be to all of a sudden creating Think a Little Different and Be a Real Estate Millionaire and New York Times bestselling book after another. Would you like to know what that one thing is? Who'd like to know what that one thing is? Can we go with yup? It's cooler. I'm going to tell you that in a little while. All right. All right, before we get started, let me get a feel of what everyone in here is looking for. So, who in here would like to concentrate and improve your health? Say I. There we go. That's how Tony Robbins does it, so I'll just borrow it from him. Okay, who in here would like to focus on your relationships and bonding with family? Let me hear it. Okay, then the third one, who in here would like to focus on making more money? What if we talked about all three of them? Is that cool? All right. Let's start with money and why I believe it's so important. And I think it was perfect that Joe, did you like that interview with Joe? I asked him 2 questions. It's like you just wind Joe up and bam, you're there. So put this up on the screen. According to CNBC, the leading cause of stress in a relationship is money. The top predictor of divorce is money. 76% of Americans admit their number one source, the significant source of stress in their life, is money. So could more money improve the quality of many areas of your life? Yes. Can we get a yup? Yes. All right, before we answer those, okay, you can come off the screen again. Before we answer those, though, I want to ask you a few questions to see exactly where you guys are at. So, when it comes to making more money, I want you guys to think through this. What would make you completely and absolute certain that you could have reached your financial goals? Would a proven plan be what you need? Can I get a yup? Okay. What about the energy and the confidence to actually take action? How about that one? Okay. What about unconditional support from a group of like-minded people? All right, what about all the above? Let me see. Sorry. Okay, question number 2. What's the current relationship? This is one, I take a minute to think because I just tweak these because I want to, again, as you could tell on the first day, I want to have a flow on how this energy goes, right? So I want you to think about this, and I'd like you to realize that all change starts with being honest. So in this question, what is your current relationship with money? So number 1, would you be honest enough to say that you're stretched or living paycheck to paycheck? Who would be willing to agree to that? Or to thank you for sharing. What about 2? You fear that technology or possibly a shift in the economy could take away your current income. Who feels that? Okay. What about who in here has a great relationship with money? You know what it can do for you. You know what it can do for other people, do for your family, but you just want more of it. Who could say yup to that one? Okay. If money was no longer, so let me ask you this. I know it's kind of like the other question. If money was no longer an issue in your life, take money off the table. Where would you focus? What would get better in your life? Would your relationships get better if you had money off the table? Okay. What about optimal health? Could you get a personal assistant? Would you get more organic food? Would you get a chef to cook for you? Could money help your health? Okay. What about your career? That's pretty obvious, right? How about living in your purpose? If money was out of the way, are there some things that you would do differently, maybe with your church or groups or helping other people? Could you live in your purpose more? Okay. So if money was no longer an issue, could you say yes to all of those? Let's put the slides back up for a second, please. If money was no longer an issue and you had all the money you needed, could you say yes to all the above? So, let me ask again, could more money improve the quality of all areas of your life? Right, so the only reason I do this and stress about money is because I've had the chance to meet thousands and thousands of my students. I've read tens of thousands of posts, and people apologize in so many cases for wanting to make more. If you, like what Joe was saying, if you want to make more money because you have the capabilities, go make a lot of it and give it all away. It's the best feeling in the world, but no apologies. Money can change a lot. A huge factor standing between you and the money you deserve are the beliefs that you have about money. So let's talk about the first belief, that money is scarce. How many times have you heard that money doesn't grow on trees? It's as if we live in constant fear that somebody's taking money away. You could kill those slides now, guys. It's like it'll vanish, when the fact is, we know that money doesn't actually vanish. There's the same amount of money now as there was in all times. In fact, there's probably more money. Money doesn't go away. The fact of the matter is, what happens to money is it transfers from one person to another. It transfers to the group of people that know how to make it. So the question shouldn't be, how do I protect and save? Is it really possible to save your way to being rich, or do you have to actually earn it? You have to earn it, but sometimes we have this ability like save, and we're not spending the time. That's a scarcity mindset because it's not going away. The question, instead of saying, how do we save it? The question needs to be, how do I become part of the group that the money is not being transferred away from? How do I become part of the group that the money is being transferred to? Does that make sense? Can I get a yup? You can put this up on the screen. I've shared this a lot, but I think this statistic says it all. In 2017, there were 1,700 new millionaires, not the existing ones. There was 1,700 new millionaires created. How often? Every day in America, more than ever before in the history of America. Is this a good time to make money? And this is a good time for money to be transferred to you. The second myth is that we somehow believe that money doesn't solve problems. You could kill the screen for now. As you can tell, I like you watching me, not the screen, right? I could leave these up, but Dan Sullivan said it best. He's one of my mentors and Joe's mentors. He owns Strategic Coach. I've been giving Dan $25,000 a year for almost 10 years. And I love what Dan says. If you have a problem and you can cut a check for that problem, then you no longer have that problem. If you can cut a check for the problem goes away. This is not talking about money is evil or money makes you happy. But if you can retire your parents, if you could put money away for retirement so you know you'll be safe, if you could put money away so your kids will have a future and have choices, if you could pay off debt that's stressing you, is that evil, or are you cutting a check to solve a problem? Money solves problems, and money earned ethically has the ability to help all of the people around you that you love. Now you're probably thinking, I get it, Dean. Money solves problems. I'd like more of it. Who would like some more of it? Yeah. Okay. So how do I get it? So I want to start with the 5 things, the 5, I call them musts, to start or scale a sustainable and profitable business. So we have the future-proof, I threw in the words future-proof deal lab. I call it future-proof because think about this. If you were a taxi cab driver, is that a future-proof industry even though it's been around for hundreds of years? No, I mean, Uber kind of ate its lunch, right? Right now, if you're an Uber driver, is that future-proof? Yeah, not really, right? Because all around Scottsdale right now, there's about 100 Volvos with the spinning tops on them. They're going to be autonomous. Well, maybe they have some setbacks, but they were saying by 2020, they think that 75% of their cars will be self-driven. There'll be nobody in them. So I'd hate to be an Uber driver right now. Not that it's a bad thing, and they'll probably be around forever, but it's not future-proof. Was Blockbuster future-proof? How about Kodak cameras? Do you know Kodak? Do you guys know the story of Kodak? They invented the digital camera. And it's to be said that there was a board meeting, and the CEO, I'm sure he's not working anywhere right now, but the CEO said when they were trying to promote the digital camera that they created, said, hey, we are not in the digital business. We are in the printing business. We need to push. Nobody's going to want to look at video or pictures on their phone. How'd that work out? It's not future-proof. What I love about real estate is it doesn't matter if cars drive themselves. If cars fly, people will be flying those driverless cars to a house where they will need to live. It is a future-proof industry. What's up? What's up? Hey, before you go, you need to watch these next few videos. They're absolute game changers. Hurry up and click right over here and watch them, and I'll see you there.